All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see. All right. I see the. All right. Finally. Jeez. Finally see the volume go up a little bit. I haven't done a live stream in a while. I had to kind of tweak with my computer, or this. It's actually a laptop to get it justified with the correlation with YouTube and Google. So it's kind of been weird. But anyway, I figured it out. It took about 5 minutes, 5, 6 minutes or so. Anyway, the title of this live stream is relationships and your surroundings. So the reason I thought about this, and I've already had this on my mind for a couple of weeks, and I haven't been on a live stream in quite some time. And the last time I did kind of put someone out there that I really cared about that I wanted to meet, but she was married, or she is married, and she lives in another state here in America. And I got tired of it after 2 years of her stringing me along. Anyway, so I'm glad to be single. By the way, I'm glad to be single, and I'm glad to be what I call myself is a truther. And when I say a truther, I mean I think logically. Like, is this? And I'll, you know, I might bother some people sometimes when I ask questions, like when I'm looking for a job. When I've looked for a job and I'm like, hey, well, what kind of product and what kind of, and I just keep asking questions, and that's the your surroundings and part of relationships, because when you go to a job, that's pretty much what's going to be happening. And I'm not just talking about jobs, but that's what's going to be happening. You're going to be building a relationship with you, people around you, with your surroundings, with the company, with whatever kind of work that you do, with whatever kind of product that you serve. If you're a customer service person, then your product is going to be the product that you're selling them or that you're helping them with, right? And that has to do with a customer relationship experience. So relationships are everywhere, and it can go through whatever dynamic you want to put it into. If you want to put it into a work experience, that's cool. If you want to put it into a personal relationship, goes a little bit deeper, right? Because then your emotional feelings are involved, and I've been through that many times. And I'm here in my life. I'm 52 years old, and I'm so glad to be single. I don't have to deal with the drama of, somebody, like jealousy, and which I've been through too many times before. And, you know, women with kids that have gone through a divorce, and it's just a lot of it's too much it's too much. What's the best way I can put it? It's like too much baggage that people have that they carry on. Like me, I have my own baggage, right? I don't have any kids, so I don't have to put their my that kind of baggage onto someone else. Even though I think a lot of women or whoever relationships appreciate kids, I do. Um, I have two nieces that are now. One of them is graduated college, and the other one is, I think she's around 10 years old. So, and I treated them like really well, and I was a godfather to one of them. I was actually asked to be a godfather to the other one, but I declined because I was going through my own issues at that time. And but I'm sure they know that I did care about them and love them. But that's my life, right? Everyone goes through a different path in their own life. They go through a different experience. Like, you might have gotten married and got divorced, and that was good or bad for you. Things happen. Relationships go really well, and then sometimes they fall apart because of cheating, because you just grew apart or whatever. But it's all good. I mean, it happens. Part of life. Um, as long as you try to grow from it and learn from it. And one of the other things I wanted to mention was your surroundings. So there's so many people that you don't know that you're surrounded by, right? Like I go out in public a lot, not a lot, but enough, and I have learned from so many different people and how they are, and so it's kind of cool if you bring it up in a certain way, like to not be invasive. Um, and when you do that, when I've done that, I've learned a lot, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've never thought that that you went through that kind of thing, and I'm not going to bring anything in specific, but I've heard so many different stories. It can be crazy sometimes. So, but the good thing is, keep your own experience within yourself to learn from yourself, from your own experience, because this is your life. This is your life. It's not somebody else's life. It's yours. It doesn't matter if you're a female or a male, a kid, an adult, an elderly person. It's your experience. It's your life. So keep it within your own emotions and what the path that you want to take, because you're the one that's in true control. Nobody else. Like, for example, people may give me advice, like my mother, especially my mother. She gives me advice. And I'm like, you know what? But you haven't been through what I've been through. Just like I haven't been through what she's been through when she used to live in Mexico. I was born here in the States, right? Um, and you know what? I'll share an experience with you. I was applying for a job about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This lady, she appeared to be Mexican. I tried to ask her, but I'll give the full experience as I went through it. I applied. I filled out the application. It was lengthy. I signed all the paperwork, W-4s, all that, and she was speaking like good English, right? And I can speak very good Spanish. I know both, even though I was born here in America, in the United States, right? Oh, somebody's putting something in the chat. Who was that? Indeed, never let someone push you into a relationship or into a job for that matter. Right. Yeah, exactly. You understand what I'm saying. Hey everybody. Yeah. A lot of people don't really comment in the live chat, but this kind of subject is important because it can relate to pretty much everybody. And I'm expressing it because it right now I feel compelled to talk about it. So anyway, here in America, one of the things that's happening now and I'm not political, so anybody who's political and you get triggered by it, go ahead. I don't care. I don't vote. Uh, I don't vote because of the fact that I think both parties are. It can create a divide between people. They fight. Oh no, you're wrong, and you're wrong, and then it's like becomes like a verbal war, and it's like it does. It doesn't really matter because prices still go up, taxes go up. you still pay sales tax. You still pay if you buy a property. You never really truly own the house. You pay property tax. When you buy a car, you pay tax and title. So it's always taxes are never going to end. Inflation is always going to go up. So that forget about the whole politics thing. But let me continue with this experience that I had, and I went to a temp agency. Okay, so I filled out all the paperwork for the application, and I asked this female. She spoke English and Spanish. She spoke English like me, right? I speak it like I mean, I have an education, and I'm intelligent, you know, to a certain point, right? I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I asked her. She spoke English like me, and then she spoke Spanish like. I'll give you an example. Yo puedo hablar español también. Yo puedo hablar así bien fácil, right? So I can switch it real quick because it's natural to me because my parents are from Mexico and I grew up in a Spanish language speaking family. But then when I went to school, learned English. So anyway, back to the experience, the story that I have is that I asked her, "Hey, by the way, where are you from? Because and she's like, "Why do you want to know?" And I thought that was strange that she was asking me that. And I was like, "Oh, maybe she thought I was hitting on her." And I was like, "No, I'm just asking because your English is so well and your Spanish is so well, and I was born here. I was born here in America." So she got defensive and she said, "Well, these are strange times for you to ask a question like that." And I realized why she asked that question. She asked that question because she is afraid of how what is it called? The immigrate what is it called? ICE, right? English is your third language. Okay, can you tell me about your other languages, sir? I don't know how you pronounce liberales, viartes, v. I don't know how do you say your username. Anyway, that's cool though. That's cool. I've met people that learn like three or four different languages. I'm like, that's amazing. So, but anyway, like the whole ICE thing with immigration after Trump came into office to the presidency. Artist. Okay, I'll call you artist. Thank you for coming in. Sub my channel if you haven't already. I've gone through so many different subjects, and I can be here for hours talking about different subjects. Dutch is okay. So German. Okay, so you're in Europe. Where do you live? Switzerland or Holland, Germany? That's pretty cool. I've never been to Europe, but I've met a lot of through my channel. Okay, Dutch. Okay, Germany is okay. You live in Germany. Okay, I know I have a friend. His name is Amish Space Station, and he can speak a little bit of German. Um, and that's really cool though. It's really cool to learn different languages. So and that's the other thing about that is the other thing is communication. You can communicate with so many different people. Like me in Spanish here in America, there's so many Spanish speaking people here. They look at me with my whites. It looks white, right? I look white, right? And a lot of people think that I'm a like pure American. I am pure American, but when I switched to Spanish, they're like, "Damn, I thought you were a white guy." I'm like, "Well, I'm light skinned, right?" But that speaking different languages is pretty cool because then you can communicate with different people and then if possibly create relationships that way. So let me ask you something. I'm going to switch the subject real quick and um, let's see. Our test. You asked if you said I could call you our test, right? Our artist or our test. So our test. I want to ask you something. What shape of this place do you think that we live in? Yeah, it's just a question. It's not just for you, it's for anybody that's listening or hopefully might be um, listening to this on a replay. I know that when I go live sometimes not a whole lot of people come in and they might rewatch it again like another day when they're free. You live on a level. Okay, we live on a level plane. Exactly. See, and I did a video. I've done many videos on that where I talk about water always finds its level, and I did a video on the moon when it was full, and how the sun reflects the moon, and when the full moon when the moon is full, the sun is directly horizontal to that moon. So that's why that moon is a reflection of that sun. So wherever that sun is, it's directly aligned, right? And then they say NASA and the government, I call them the government, which is to govern your mind, tell us that we are spinning 1,000 miles an hour. When I made that video, it was silent. It was stationary. We were not moving. So all this hoopily hoppily, whatever you want to call it, magical thinking is crazy to think. Like people watch like the news and they watch TV and programming. And I watch some TV, right? But it's for fun. I know it's just for fun because I know it's just like for entertainment. But when it comes to like serious stuff like that, it's not funny anymore. Like to lie to any human being on any country from any territory that we live on a ball, that to say that water can conform to a spinning ball or to any ball is nuts. Okay, let's see what you're saying. We live in a level plane. Flight times of plane don't work with earth spinning. Exactly. The gyroscope, it never moves. There was an experiment done by a female that when that they came out with that sort of, they said that the ball is spinning. She went on a helicopter and flied or went up. It was in the 40s or 20s or whatever it was. It was 1900s, and she went up for hours, and the Earth didn't move. And then she came down and she proved that the Earth is not moving. Right? I don't know what happened after that, but how simple can you get? How simple can it be by just doing that? It's that simple. I mean, um, if that were true, fishing would be hard, right? Well, wait, hold on. One thing they say is gravity. That's what the vacuum or the force of gravity pulls water to conform to the ball. No, it doesn't. What happens when it rains? That totally debunks the whole thing. Raining is not, it's just water falls. Water always falls and splashes and finds its level. It doesn't cling to anything unless it's ice, unless it's frozen. What? That's pure logic. That's pure common sense. Come on, guys. Somebody was telling me I was at a job that I went to. Well, I had health issues, and I went to the hospital. But I had this job, and this guy said he started mentioning SpaceX or something like that, and I was like, dude, there are space. There are no infinite planets. There are no aliens that look weird and green and with big eyes. They just NASA and the government keeps pushing that on your live vision to program you to keep you in fear. There are no aliens. There is no infinite planets. There is no the Big Bang theory is all bullshit. Excuse my language. It's all bullshit. There was like nothing, and then it was a Big Bang theory, and all of a sudden it's infinite universe. And then we were born here on this place called Earth. Yes, the only thing they tell you when you arrive early with an aeroplane at the destination is due to tailwind, right wind. And think about the turbine engines. That's what really guides the plane. Those electrical turbine engines. There's electrical things in the air. That's how there's lightning. So they create that turbine wind to with the wings to uh there's some fuel. Obviously there's going to be fuel in the plane, but the fuel doesn't transport the plane from one destination to the other. It's the turbine engines. That's why a lot of the bigger planes, the 747s, they have four turbine engines, so they have like huge ones, and that's what truly guides that plane. And the engineering on that plane is crazy good. Indeed, television do tell our visions, and they give you a TV guide to follow the programming. And that's what happened in the beginning when they first started uh, putting TVs or selling televisions out there. And I think it was in the 1920s or 30s, I'm not sure. And they said, one of the things you have to remember, they said, welcome back to your regularly scheduled program. Remember that term. It's done on purpose because it is a program to program your mind to believe everything that you see or hear. Oh, and then I back in the day I used to be like, "Oh, did you hear what happened on I saw on the news?" It's crazy, man. People believe everything they see on the news. People believe everything, and they're like, oh, they think it's like free information. No, they're programming your mind to lose your logical thinking, your common sense. When you stop watching the news and you listen to people and actually talk to people, you can discern for yourself whether it's right or wrong. That's it. It's that simple. And when I started doing that, and I stopped voting too at the same time, it was in 2008. I did vote for Obama, which I, after I did that, I was like, what's the point? It's like, it doesn't matter. It's the country's still going to be this way or that way, and there's still going to be war and blah, blah, blah. But when I stopped watching the news, I started looking at and listening to logical things and common sense things, and then and then I just got away from all of that programming news stuff, and it was like, and just started to truly think differently, even though I already knew we lived on a stationary plane, or or at least that we don't live on a ball, and I tried to, I became an advocate for a while, but then it kind of got to me because people can get kind of crazy with it, because like they don't want to let it go. They don't want to let that we don't live on a ball go. They think we're stupid. They think I'm stupid because I think that I was tricked, that we are tricked, and we're still going to get tricked. And kids, the other thing about that is kids nowadays, and I say that, and I know that because my nieces that I have, they grew up in school with tablets for their education. So their education, like me, I grew up with just books, right, and writing pencils. Now they grew up with tablets, and they live on their tablets. The globe is too many people like a religion. See that, now that's another great subject. Um, yeah, my I grew up. My parents are from Mexico, and I grew up Catholic, and I don't know about anybody else, but when I grew up Catholic, it was like a tyranny. Like, I'll tell you one story, and that's the only story I'm going to tell you, because it makes it very basic. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and we were in church, and I guess the priest, or whatever you want to call the padre or the father, was praying, and he wanted everyone to get on their knees, right? And I was because I thought it was weird to get on my knees and pray to whatever they're praying for. And my father grabbed my ear and just pulled it and said, "You better knee down." It told me in Spanish, and pray. And it was like, that's religion. Force, forcefully making someone to be religious, violently doing it to a child. Think about rape. Think about the kids that are raped by priests, by fathers, by padres, by religious people. They think they're above everyone else, that they can do that. Think about all the people, all the kids that grew up with all that. Luckily, that didn't happen to me, but that religion is a horrible, it can be a horrible thing. I mean, I've met some good religious people, but when you start sexually abusing and verbally abusing people, violently abusing, physically violently abusing people, you're in it for the wrong reason. That's why I'm not religious anymore. My dad told me stories about Catholic school in his day, and it is horror story. I'm telling you my own story, man. Artist, artist. I'm telling you my own story. My dad pulled me. That's only one experience. He used to spank the shit out of me with a belt if I didn't comply. So luckily, I remember in eighth grade, I decided to fight back. I was like 12 or 13, and he was going to spank me again. I think it was because I showed up late for, I got a detention for showing up late for school, even though I would walk like over a mile and a half to go there because I wouldn't get a ride. And it's fine. They were hardworking people at that time. And I showed up late and I got a detention. And he brought his belt out that spanked the shit out of me. And I finally said, "All right, let's go. Come on." And then I went like this and I put my hands up. I didn't know if I was going to die or not, or he was going to spank the crap out of me. But at that time, I said, enough is enough. And he walked away scared out of his mind. So, everyone, so at some point, we all have our limits. And I was only 12, 13 years old. And that was my limit, to be violently abused again. He never did it after that. And he started to just leave me alone. So stand up to your bullies, even if it's the people that you are supposed to love, like my own father. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Artest. Yeah. That's a crazy story. I've told people, but it did happen to me. I did go through that. But, at some point, you have to stand up to people like that. Even if, you know what? Even if it means that you're going to die or you're going to go through a lot of pain. And when I did that, that was it, man. It changed everything. He never tried to touch me again, like in a physical way. It was crazy. Yeah, thank you, sir. Good you did that. Yeah. Yeah, so like for me, like I have, like religion is okay, right? I met people that practice their religion, but they don't push it on anyone. So when they don't push it on anyone, that means they only do it because it's kind of like their therapy for whatever happened to them. They want to just put closure on things, that bad things that have happened to them, that they saw, or what they've done, maybe even what they've done. And it's like they're uh, saying saying to their own God, whatever God that is is to say, I'm sorry for what I did. Please forgive me. People who do that, cool. At least they let their bad past go, and whether the other people will forgive them, that's on the other people. But at least that person is trying to hopefully better themselves or be a good person, and just do what they're doing. People who do violence often are bad communicators. Exactly, like drunks, drug addicts, or just people who think that by talking loud to someone is a way of communicating. But you know what it is? It's a way of um, trying to control them. That's all it is. They're trying to control them. You do what I say, and all that kind of crap. It doesn't. I stay away from people like that. So yeah, and kids, the problem is kids can't fight back. Most kids can't fight back. They have to deal with that. And then bad parents, they think that, a weaker person, a weaker, like a kid, or a weaker, like, let's say, a man over versus a woman, or even a woman versus a man that's kind, that, it's usually a man against a woman, but sometimes a woman can be mean to a man that's kind. Um, they think that verbally raising their voice and abusing them it is a control system. Raising your voice is all about control, um, and that's not the way to go. You really should just look at things that have gone in the past and then deal with one thing at a time, because you can't just deal with the whole package. And one thing that I've learned over time with relationships, and this is why I put the description or the title as relationships and your surroundings, because relationships are different for every single person, because everyone goes through a different experience. Not everyone is exactly the same way, right? And that's okay. That's all right. But how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it within what happens with your life, in your surroundings, in your relationships? Are you going to stand up for yourself? Are you going to say, hey, I don't want to deal with this anymore if it's violent or if it's bad? Or are you going to surround yourself with people who care, who actually do care, and take one step at a time in that direction? Our test says often bullies in school become abusive to the partner and children. That's why bullies should always go to a psychiatrist. Well, bullies, that's true. I have a degree in psychology, by the way. Something a lot of people don't know, but I don't practice in that field anymore because for a lot of reasons I didn't get paid enough at that time, and it wasn't about the money. It was because I couldn't afford. I was only getting paid. I'll just be honest with you. I was getting paid like $18,000 a year. It was entry level, right? But I still helped friends and family. But with bullies, kids are bullies because they are bullied at home. That is very true. So they grew up with that mentality right away. They think that they can control other kids, weak kids, kids that are quiet, that don't really want any trouble from anyone. So they can feel like dominate in a dominating way because they feel dominated at home. And that happens all the time. I was bullied by one kid at in grade school, and I found out this kid was autistic, and his father was an alcoholic, and all his other siblings were mentally handicapped. So he didn't. I guess that was the way he did it. And I when I found out later on, I found out in high school because he would always brag about his grades, like he got B's and A's, but he got B's and A's from a handicap uh, education. So his B's and A's are my A pluses and other average, like normal, mentally stable people that could get A's on that. That's like it was like going back, like he was in, let's say, ninth or 10th grade, and he was actually taking like sixth grade classes. So he was like he had a mental issue, and it took that for me to realize that he just had mental issues. But bullies, yeah, but bullies still exist, um and yeah. So, but always remember, bullies are they start from a childhood, from their own surroundings, from their own parents. Maybe their parents argue a lot, uh, and they think that yelling is the way to go. It's not. It really isn't. So okay, our test says the bully I had in school became abusive to his kids and wife and is now in jail. See that's a perfect example about what bullying will end up at the end of that bullying. There's no good in it. There's nothing good comes out of it. It's better just to talk to somebody reasonably, and if they become violent, get away. Just like they say, just like there's like if you come into a bad situation where there's like you're gonna either run, either you're gonna like fight or flight, right? So there's times when I've gotten into a situation where I'm gonna, which I described one with my father when I was like 12, 13 years old, and I decided to fight. And it worked because I scared the crap out of him, right? But then there's times when you have to flight. We just say, I'm running. I need to get away from my own safety, right? You have to, and it's instinctive. But if you're a bully and you want to be a bully, you only have one instinct, which is fight. And you know what? The bully I had in school became abusive to his kids and wife and is now in jail. That is a bully that deserved what he asked for every single time. So, that's the way it happens. You can't, you I mean, what happens, like I've never been to prison, but I can only imagine what happens in prison where they're all bullies, right? And bullies within bullies, it can be I can just imagine it can be a chaotic environment, a surroundings, like my title says. Yeah, indeed, bullies are a lot in a negative mindset. That's why psychiatrist is needed. Well, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Because when I was a counselor at a youth and crisis center for families and kids, there were like 18, 17 year olds that had tattoos all over. Like I don't have any tattoos, right? I mean, I fell off my bike, so I have a little scar. I think it's on this one. Yeah, it's on this one. So I fell off my bike because my sweatpants got caught on part of the bike, and then I just fell over. So, but that's cool. But I mean, I have no tattoos, but 17, 18-year-old kids in gangs, they have tattoos to mark like what kind of gang they're in. And when you're in a gang mindset, um, you think you're always thinking to attack, killing, um, beating somebody up, stealing from them. I mean, you're thinking total criminal acts. It's not, it's just, it's a horrible way of thinking. But once you get into that mentality of a gangster mindset and you have weapons, you're, it's a hard, it's a hard, psychiatrist can only help for a little while, in my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe there are rehabilitated people like that come out of it, and then you know, um, I a lot of those people that I remember actually have something actually very horrible happen to them, like somebody that they truly loved was killed or died, and they become like it changes them to become a better person. And that sometimes that's the process to heal themselves and say, hey, I didn't like what happened to my best friend or my mother or my father or whoever, my sister, my brother. And they say, I can't let that happen again, so I won't do that to myself anymore. What I was a bit surprised about, that even in the truth and flat earth community, there were bullies and drama causers and abusers. I had hoped there would be less people that in a truth community. Well, okay, all right. You're gonna talk about flat earth. Okay, I went to the Flattoberfest. Okay, cost me 2 grand. I rented a car. I live by Chicago, right? I live right around here by the Chicagoland area, and the Flattoberfest is in North Carolina. Or when I went there, it was in North Carolina, right? And it cost me. I rented a car. The car cost me about $700 total with the gas and the. I did buy insurance for it, and I drove there because back then it was in 2021. COVID was still going on, so I couldn't fly. So I drove there, went there, paid $150 just for the stupid ticket to go in, right? And which is fine. I was like super into it, right? And I was there. I met a lot of people. I filmed a lot of people. I'm not going to mention any names anymore because I don't really associate with any of them anymore. Um, and part of the reason is because a lot of them monetize their channels for flat Earth, and I'm like thinking, why would you? First of all, after I left, right? I left. I got home, and I did all the math, and it ended up costing me about 2 grand, if not a little bit more. And I realized, why would a flat earther charge another flat earther $150 to join a community that they already exist, that they already know? And then I started realizing, and then I made friends there. And again, I'm not going to name any names because I don't associate with them anymore. Actually, I will name one name. Um, Karen B. Karen B is the one that was in charge of the Flattoberfest, which happens in October, right? And a lot of other truthers, I just call myself a truther now. They think she is a disgusting person because she takes advantage of this truth community, of this flat earth community, and she charges people for that. She monetizes her channel, and all these newbies that are come riding along on this train now, that other people like myself and other people even before me have already known for a long time, and they never asked anybody for money. They were just trying to tell them, hey, we've been lied to. And people like her, Karen B, charge people to pay to go to Flattoberfest, to pay. She monetizes her channel to pay for this information that we already know. Truthers already know this. So it's crazy. And I okay, I'll mention one more name. And this one really pissed me off. Not just Karen B, but this one really pissed me off because I thought he was like I thought he was a really true friend because for one thing, I translated a flat Earth pamphlet for him from English to Spanish because he asked me to, and I did it for free, and that cost me about over $100 for like 50 pages, and I did it through FedEx, and I did it. Bam! When I went to Flattoberfest, I passed him out, and it was in Spanish. It was in Spanish and English, but on the flip side, it was in Spanish. And once I had like, I think I handed out like probably around 30, 40, or 50. I just kept walking around and handing them out. Hey, this is in Spanish. And he he called me like a year later. We exchanged numbers, and he said, "Hey, would you like to come over to my farm because we're gonna have like some flat Earth guests to speak out." I think I think he said Nathan Oakley or something like that. And he said, "Yeah, but we're gonna charge you $150." I was like, "What the fuck, dude? You're my friend. You're gonna charge me to drive there again?" He lived in South, or I don't know if he still lives there, but he lived in South Carolina, and he wanted to charge me just to be part of the event. And I'm like, I thought we were friends. And I got angry, and I told him that his username is that flat fellow. I forget his name because I deleted him after that. So I was like, dude, you are just like Karen B, man. You're charging me, and we're supposed to be friends. I gave you a free translated pamphlet that you asked me to give you, and I paid for it. Now you're asking me you're charging me just to be at the event. Like, that was crazy. Anyway, so that's that flat fellow. I forget his name. I don't even care. Anyway, what are you saying there? Karen B, as a person, I have no problem with, but I can understand your mindset. Yeah. So that flat fellow, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Karen B is, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people here. Let me see. Amish Space Station um, hates her because he understands what I'm talking about. Hold on, I'm gonna pull his account up, and I want you to check this out because hold on, damn it. Okay, I'll have to pull it up again. Yeah. So that flat fellow, what's his name? Shoot, I don't. I have a new phone number, so um, I forgot his name, but he grew up real quick. Like, he grew up as a flat earther very very fast, and that was because a lot of people pulled a lot of strings for him. Like Karen B. First of all, Karen B. What's that short guy's name from Boston? I think. I mean, a lot of flat earthers helped him grow up, grow into the spotlight of flat Earth. I don't even call it flat Earth anymore. I just call it I'm a truther. I just say that I'm a truther, and then I verbally explain the reasons. Like, water always finds its level. There's no curvature. I mean, there's hills and valleys and mountains, but water does find its level. That's it. All the big channels in FE know me, but they never mention me or talk about me in unique research. Okay. Well, I've talked to a lot of big people that were out there back in that day in 2020 and 2021, even before that. I think it was, I'm trying to remember these people's name. Roxanne Glenn, um, David, I can't remember his full username. Critical Inception, he made me a mod. Um, let's see, well, that flat fellow, what's that woman's name from California? She moved to Oregon, and now she lives with that flat fellow in South Carolina. Let's see, unplugged, and no, his he was arrested at the COVID he was he's from London. Two people from London. Sven, I don't talk to him anymore. He's kind of strange. Um God, I can't remember everybody's name. I pretty much deleted everyone's channel that monetized their channel because I just don't agree with truthers monetizing their channel for money gain over something that is very basic, that I think all truthers should know. But yeah. Well, the thing about research is like, um, one thing. Okay, I never have done like hours and hours of research like at one time, because I used to be in school for a long time, and in the educational system, and it's boring. So I listen to a lot of people, and I sort of discern for myself whether it's logically right or it's common sense, and that's it. Like like for me, I have a degree in psychology, right? But um, you don't really need a degree in psychology to know that you have common sense. Common sense, this is right, this is wrong. That's it. That's psychology right there. Or if you have emotional things that are going on, yeah, then you should talk to a friend. Talk to a friend, and have them help you talk it out. You don't need to pay somebody. You don't have to pay someone to help you psychologically. If you have a good friend or you have someone, talk it out. Somebody that will listen. Okay? That's the main thing. Listening. Because if somebody has their own issues, they're going to have a hard time listening because they have their own cognitive things, emotional things that they're dealing with, you know? So that's the way I look at it. Like when I was a counselor, I mean, I had my own things going on, but when it was time to be a counselor, I was just like, "So what's going on? Why are you here?" And I would write it down, and I would say, "Okay, so this your dad this, your mom that, you're mad at the school, you're mad at whatever." They usually come in mad, right? Or even the parents come in mad because the kid's running away or whatever. There's so many things that happen in a family's life that you have to sit back and listen to it, and then once you listen, you can take it in, and then find a way to start the process to help them out, because truly it doesn't happen in one day. It might not happen in a week, it might not happen in a month. It could take time. It's going to take time. It's it's a healing process. It's a process to move to change things for the better. It's the best way I can put it. So that's the way I dealt with it. Now, a lot of people, not a lot, but some people did it a different way, like through religion or whatever, and that's fine. But I just disagree with that kind of format because of what happened to me, which I just described with religion in my growing up as a child. So I just disagreed with that. But anyway, well, our test, thank you. David Weiss, Martin Leet, um, are people I don't trust at all. Okay, well, Martin Leakin, I forget his name. I think he's in London or somewhere. He likes to talk about Tartaria, which is still skeptical to me, because that's like the whole Tartaria thing is like, I don't know. It's just I don't get it. Yeah, it looks like a great guard to me. That's all it looks like to me. It doesn't look like to me. I think his symbolism is that he's trying to um, say that it used to be like a war thing, that wherever there was war, that it was like a maze so that it would confuse any people attacking that area. I think that's the way I remember him describing it. And David Weiss, I met David Weiss at the Flattoberfest, and him and somebody else that he partners with. I can't remember their name, but I did film them. But I don't have that. Sorry, I don't have that film evidence anymore. Um, but they fight. I remember David Weiss, before I want to read the next section that you said. David Weiss actually fought with or disagreed with a friend of mine that I talked to on a live stream, which is David. His name is David something. He's from Florida now. He lives in Florida. Who created the Friends Finder? I think it's Friends Finder, where you can put in your phone into the app, and then you can find other flat earthers. And he said that no, I found it first, and then it was David. Oh God, what is his last name? I don't. I think I still have his channel. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm gonna find his channel. Um, David Banner. Yeah, me and David Banner had a falling out because um Pancho Pete. I don't know who Pancho Pete is. Um, yeah, we had a falling out because it's because of me. I disagreed with something, with some of the things that he does. He puts everyone as he puts everyone as a as a mod, which I think it's strange. So I mean, and he all he does. I'm sorry to disagree with you, but all he does is play music and smoke weed and drink coffee while he's on his live, which I could do on my own. I mean, it's not like I'm joining. It's basically joining his community. That's all I can tell you. So if they're if he's gonna bring some new evidence that I don't know of, then I would love to listen to it. But smoking weed, listening to music, and then sometimes he bashes on people about why they would say that, and it's like it's not for me anymore. So yeah, I don't listen to his channel anymore. Um, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my subscriptions here. I know that guy. I just haven't talked to him in a long time. Shoot. Okay. Wait. Give me a second. I'm gonna bring it up here. Oh, it's Zombie Robot Zoom Truth. That's what it is. Zoom Truth. Right. Yeah, yeah, not every channel is for everybody, right. Yeah, I mean, Zoom Truth, I his name is David as well. And well, the truth is, um David Banner, you know who David Banner really is though, right? David Banner is a fictional character on American TV, which is the Hulk, right? Which is the actor's name is Bill Bixby. So he bases his name off of Bill Bixby, the Hulk. I don't know if you knew that or not, but that's another thing. Like he puts the picture of Bill Bixby, the actor who's actually dead now, on his channel. So he never really shows his face. Like me, I'm going live on my own face. Not that everyone has to do that, but to me, that's sort of sketchy. And he characterizes himself as the Hulk, and then he has all these followers that are basically mostly from British. They're from London or from where they're British, right? Which is cool. It's fine. You have he has his own fan base, but yeah, I'm done with him. Anyway, I'm done with that channel. It's boring. I'm sorry, it's just boring to listen to music, and I I can play my own music, so that's all I have to say. But only David Benner isn't. Okay, Pancho Pete. Yeah, actually, I've heard him mention Pancho Pete now that you say that. But Yeah, I mean, like me, I only have like what 101 subs or 100 subs, whatever. It's cool. It's like for me, I have a small fan base, but um, it's for me to express how I feel and the journey that I've been through with flat Earth or with friendships, with relationships, and with my surroundings and my life. And so it's my way to express myself and to show the things that I've been through. And I'm very honest with the things that I've been through, and that continues for me to change my life and my decisions and what I do. Yeah, I always like to hear everybody with their view to form an opinion about people and things. Right, and that's the great thing about your own experience in life. And like I I don't know what other people have been through, so I can't judge them. I can maybe try to help them, right? But I can't judge them because there's a lot of things that I haven't been through that other people have. So, I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, and if anything, all I can do is tell them to find support somewhere close within their family or their friends to to help them if there's any sort of emotional pain or physical pain. But yeah, everyone absolutely has their own life experiences, you know. So I mean, I've had a lot of near death experiences, and I honestly, there's times where I've thought I can't believe I'm still alive. I've had a scorpion poison me when I was a kid, and I've had a when I was in Mexico with my parents when I was a kid. I was like 10 years old. I had a what was it called? A worm that went into my intestines, eating up everything that I ate, and I was throwing up, and I lost like a lot of weight. But they found a doctor that found medication for me, and I killed the worm that was in my intestines. And let's see, um, I did break my leg about 7 years ago. Um, yeah, I don't know. I Tapeworm. That's what it is. A tapeworm. Yeah. So they put a suppository or whatever it's called, a suppository in my butt, injected me with some kind of liquid in my butt or on my butt cheeks, and they made me take like a pill and then drink something. I don't know what it was. So they went like on this way and inside the other way, and it was like weird. You know what? Somebody's sticking something up your butt, injecting you with something on your butt cheeks, and then taking a pill and then swallowing something that tasted awful. And after that pretty much that pretty much killed, within a day or two. It killed the tapeworm, and I started eating again instead of throwing everything up or whatever, diarrhea and all the things that I had. So yeah, yeah, you're laughing. But it was disgusting, man. I almost died, and I was just a kid. But that's that's life. That's what happened to me back then. And the thing about that, it was that they lived in Mexico in a ranch on a farm. So it was like not the most to be kind. It was not the cleanest surroundings. So the most sanitary surroundings. So I had to deal with that, and I was, born here in America, and so most of the time it's cleaner water here than it was there. I don't know what you're saying, dude. I'm not lacking. What the fuck? What WTF? I'm not doing those emojis. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying, but yeah, yeah, but yeah. Anyway, well, thank you for joining our test. Thank you for. Hopefully, you sub to my channel. I know, I had a lot of subs before, or a lot more subs than I have now. But to me, that's not as important as the quality of people that come in and actually share, their mindset or their opinions about anything. Because if you want to share your opinion, I will gladly share mine, and I won't be upset if you say something that I don't like. I'll just describe it to you in the way that the way that I feel it, the way that I feel about it. You were saying I was laughing. Someone else is doing that. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on. So, see, the thing is like my channel, I know that I have had one or two trolls come in here. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know why. Um, if they're laughing at it because they they like the fact that I've went in through some pain. Okay, well, whatever, dude. I listen. I'm 52 years old now. That's over with. I'm just sharing with you in my live stream what I went through. That's it. So that's all, man. So if you're laughing at it, hey, man, you're not winning anything by it. I'm not losing anything by it. It's over. That time is over. So what I would suggest to you, if you're laughing about it, is find something positive in your own life to find semblance to be happy. That's it. Or go through whatever pain you're going through to get over it. If you're going through pain, like for me, I'm happy right now. Nobody's life is I don't know what perfect is. Nobody's life is perfect. So find something that you're happy with and run with it. Go with it. So Artest, thank you so much, and I hope you sub to my channel. I'm going to, if you want to, Artest, I'm gonna ask you a question, if you don't mind if you don't mind answering for me. Is there a subject that you would like to talk about uh, on my next live stream? Because if there is, I won't even research it. I'll just talk about it, or we can talk about it, and I can, we can hash it out, whatever, or just talk about it. I mean, it could be ancient constructions. Okay, ancient constructions. That's a good topic. Okay, ancient constructions. Okay, I'm guessing that you've done some research on this. So maybe I'll let you narrate the whole thing, and then you can actually teach me, because I'm not an expert on this, just so you know. So just letting you know. So anyway, well, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Ancient constructions. Um, I'm already having some thoughts, but I'm starting to get tired. I have done 15 years of research, done many presentations about it. Okay. Well, go ahead. You know what? I'll make you a mod so you can post links. In fact, I'll do it right now. I'll make you a mod so you can post links so that other people can see. Hold on. Wait, I don't know why it's not working. Shoot. All right, so you're a mod now. So you can that way you can post links to have me and other people look at it, and that way you can describe what's going on there. Um, so okay, all right. I'm gonna. You're welcome, sir. So I'm gonna go. I'm going to go ahead and exit and end the live stream. It was great talking to you. Great. Thank you for listening. Anybody who joined, thank you for coming in our test. Um, great to meet you. And so until the next time, thank you, sir. You too. You as well. All right. Bye.